Hey guys, it's Sab here and welcome to a brand new series that is going to be called This Week's Review, where I basically review this week's games and Premier League games and maybe some others around the world or in different leagues that have kind of caught my eye or whatever. But yeah, it's mainly going to be focused on reviewing the weekend's games and just talking a little bit about them, just to add a little bit more football to the channel. So, without further ado, let's just get into it. Obviously starting with the Friday night game. Defending champions Liverpool beating Bournemouth by 4-2, starting our defence of the Premier League title with a win. Grand, however, Liverpool back to being, back to giving me heart attacks every fucking 10 seconds. So that's fun. Yeah, being 2-0 up at home against, with all due respect, a team like Bournemouth, you should not throw that away. Yet we did. And it's infuriating. It's annoying. Giving the ball away twice. The first one, obviously, Szoboszlai gives it away because he tries to do a skill move, which is unnecessary. And we're hit on the counter. It's a great ball by Brooks. Great finish by Semenyo. At 2-1, you've just given the ball away. That should... an emphasis on should here. That should mentally put it in your head that this game is not done yet and we have to be focused. But what Liverpool seem to have thought is, oh shit, it's now 2-1, we really need a third, let's just bomb everyone forward so that when we're hit on the counter again, it's a 4v2 and in any way we're fucked. And in a way, Semenyo didn't need anyone because he scored it himself, but still, it was a 4v2, which meant we were pretty much fucked either way. Yeah, Canate had an absolute howler, justifying Liverpool's stance of not giving him his demands of 300 grand a week. There's not a chance in hell that player's 300 grand a week. It's annoying because we've seen that Canate can defend. We've seen that he is a good defender. But he has these moments, he has these games all too often where he is utterly shit. He looks completely out of his depth in the Premier League. And looks like, you know, just looks like Dejan Lovren all over again. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that Leone, who's come in, because he's very tall, hopefully he'll get some minutes this season and he'll learn from someone like Van Dijk, and he could even take Kanate's spot very quickly in this team. I would love if we could strike a deal with Mark Gay, but I hope we don't budge. I really do. I hope we give them their ultimatum of 35 million, or you lose your captain for free next summer and we sign him as a free agent next summer. Because there's no way we should pay another 10 at 45 million when in 12 months time you can literally get him for free. There's no point in that. You stick to your guns. If Palace still try to play hardball, you've shot yourselves in the foot. You'll lose your captain for free. And we tried to give you the money, but you wanted to be dickheads and you wanted to be greedy dickheads, try getting more from us when you knew our stance was 35 and that was it. Plus, you know the player's stance is he only wants Liverpool. So, Palace don't have the luxury of another team coming in to pay the money, because Gay doesn't want to go to another team. He's more than happy to see out the rest of his contract and join Liverpool for free next summer. It's Liverpool or no one. And, you know, we know that, which is why we're not budging on 35. Palace should know that and go, can we really afford to lose someone like that for free when we could get 35 million, which could go into, you know, getting a replacement for him? It's simple, really, but they've shot themselves in the foot. So I think really if we were gonna go any higher, I don't know. Look, it would be great to get Gay in. It would. And if it's 45, if Palace can lower it to 35, then it is what it is. If not, do I feel like we need another one? Probably not, because I think you'd have Van Dijk, Konate, Leone, Gomez. Do you need a fifth? Possibly, but possibly not, because again, that puts it either Gomez doesn't get nearly enough game time if he's fit, or then Leone gets no minutes because there's 4 senior players in front of him. You know, you've got to toss that up really. And of course, there is always January. I know people don't like hearing that, but there is. You could, if it turns out we could do with a 5th centre back, you can always go for maybe a short-term option, a loan or something, just to get you to the end of the season. Again, I know people don't like that, but it's always the option. Obviously, I'm fortunate that I'm not the manager and I don't have to deal with this thing. I just get to sit back and watch. I just hope that when I am sit back in and watching throughout the season, it ain't like that and we're not throwing away 2-0 leads left, right and fucking centre. That would be great. Fortunately though, Chiesa and Salah end up scoring late on to give us a 4-2 win, defending our title with a win, grand, and yeah, on a very emotional night. It was great to get the 3 points and get the season up and running. Moving on to Saturday's games. Started off with Villa against Newcastle, bore draw, and you had to think if Newcastle had a particular Swedish striker, he would have finished most of those chances and Newcastle probably win that game. Look, again, like Palace, Newcastle have shot themselves in the foot by putting a ridiculous price tag on Isak of 150 and rejecting 110. Again, this is going to be it's a different situation because he's not in the last year of his contract. He's got 3 years left. So, in that, apparently, and Newcastle fans all wanted to shout at Liverpool, being like, oh, they've unsettled him, and now they're giving us a bullshit offer, like, fuck them, all of this shit. When later it then came out, actually, it was nothing to do with Liverpool, because Isak came out and told Newcastle last summer that this would be his last year. He then told them again, a few weeks before the end of the season, that he wanted to leave in the summer. He then told them at the end of the last game of the season, for a third time, he wanted to leave in the summer. So Newcastle have known for over a year that he has asked them to leave at the end of this current season. You've had a year to find a replacement, and every single one has rejected you. Like, that is a key indication, really, that either they don't want to play for Newcastle, or maybe it just so happens that other teams that want that player just so happen to be better than Newcastle. Like, I don't know. It blows my mind how people can blame other clubs for wanting a player, yet you then, when it's a fair offer, 110 million is a very fair offer. Especially when nobody in the world is paying 150. Nobody. It's fucking ridiculous. You're thinking that, look, here's the idea. We paid 116 for Florian Wirtz. Are you honestly telling me that Isak is a better player than Wirtz? Fuck no. You're tripping bollocks. If it was the other way around, 116 for Isak, 150 for Wirtz, that would make sense. But it isn't. It's literally 116 for Wirtz, and Newcastle think they can get 150 for Isak. You're fucking drunk. No wonder we bidded 110. Because that's stupid. And also, again, like I said, they shot themselves in the foot because you're running out of time. So either Liverpool go, do you know what? We're done dealing with you for this summer. Keep him. You've got a player there that has outright admitted he will not play for Newcastle again, not training with the team at all, and has the luxury of knowing that he could spend the whole of this season, he could spend 12 months in the reserves and still be at the World Cup next summer because he is Sweden's best player. There is not a chance in hell he doesn't go to the USA with Sweden as long as Sweden are there. Like, it's very, very easy for him to go, alright, I sit in the reserves for 12 months, I still go to a World Cup, I still get paid 130 grand a week. You're going to be paying that to a player that ain't sitting on the bench even. And next summer, or in January, you get nowhere near 150 million. Because no one's going to pay that when he's got 2 years left on his deal. You're not even going to get 100. You'll get 90. That's the highest anyone will bid. 90 million next summer is all they'll get. So again, they've shot themselves in the foot by trying to be greedy, asking for a shitload when they know for a fact no one is going to pay that. And then you get less next summer. Like, you've got to really seriously make up your minds now, Newcastle, because they wanted 2 strikers before they sold Isak, and we're the 19th of August, and they failed to sign any. So, looks like they might be fucked. But can I be bothered? No, because to be honest, the way they all cried about it, it was hilarious. All blaming Liverpool and everything, and then literally journalists came out and shut them the fuck up by saying he wanted to leave last summer. Oh, well, he didn't want to leave last summer, but he mentioned to the club that he was going to leave in a year's time last summer. So, you know, that is your own fault. But yeah, Villa ended up having a man sent off as well, and Newcastle still could not get the winner. So that ended up being 0-0. Sunderland came back up after a good few years out of the Premier League with a win, a 3-0 win against West Ham. It's looking very, very poor under Graham Potter for West Ham. It's not looking great at all. If you judge, obviously, when he came in last season to this first game of the season, their transfer business as well doesn't look particularly good times at West Ham at the minute, and they really could struggle this season. Tottenham obviously beating Burnley by 3-0 as well. Yeah, Burnley again always have a little bit of a struggle when they come up, and again looks like they could be heading straight back down. I know it's the first game of the season, but I mean, they don't look particularly great, and I don't think Scott Parker has a great record in the Premier League either. So you've got issues there already, and again, I just think there's better teams in the Premier League than Burnley at the minute, so it could be a long old season for them. Moving on, what was the other one? Brighton Fulham drew 1-1. Let's have a little look. So it was a well, possession was 50-50. Brighton had 4 shots on target, Fulham had 2. So it seemed like a relatively close, you would say, game. At least from the stats anyway. Obviously it being a 3 o'clock kickoff, I didn't see it, because you can't see them. But it seemed like a relatively close game, that a draw probably would be a fair result in that. There's not really much else to say in that game. The 5:30 City beating Wolves by 4-0. Yeah, Wolves were shit. They really, really were. And you fear for them this season. You know, this could be the season that they do go down, because again, transfer business hasn't been great, and when you get smashed on the opening day at home and didn't really look very competitive in that game either, I mean, there's not... It's difficult because it is City. They're one of the best teams in the league, so... But again, it's just simple defending that they were getting wrong. And yeah, really it could have been more. It really could have been more than 4. And again, yeah, you fearful them this season. It looks like it could be, again, another team that could be in for a long, long season. Moving on to the Sunday games, Chelsea and Palace drawing 0-0. However, you could say that Palace should have won it with the free kick. Again, I saw something that was very good in that if it was the other way round and it was the defender that shoved the player, would it be given as a penalty? No, it wouldn't. So why, if it's the other way round, is it given as a foul? You know, That doesn't make sense. And that's the thing where you will see more and more of that as the season goes on, and they won't get given. Again, if we can go back to the Liverpool game, a blatant handball on the halfway line, denying Ekitike breaking away, who I think had Salah next to him, which would have been 2 on the goalkeeper, blatantly basketballs it away with his fingers, and the referee, both the linesmen and 3 men in a VAR room can't see that that's handball. I mean, are they all blind? Because Stevie Wonder could have seen that. It's not difficult. But yeah, again, that'll happen maybe even next weekend, and it'll be given as handball, and the defender would get sent off. And it's like, there is no consistency. That has been the biggest issue, I think, since VAR came in. There has been little to no consistency at all with any of the decisions. And in week 1, there has already been 3, possibly more, really shit VAR decisions that have got massively wrong. 3. And it's only the start of the season. That does not bode well. If you're getting 3 mistakes already on week 1. Like, I can't understand it. I don't want to understand it. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, other than that, obviously I didn't watch that game. I watched the Forest game instead, so I don't really know what else happened, but it finished 0-0, so who could care less. And again, after what Palace did in the Community Shield to Diogo Jota's minute silence, I couldn't give a fuck about Palace. I really couldn't. And I know it's not all of them, and I'm sure the majority of the Palace fans were disgusted with their own fans doing it, but, you know, a few idiots does genuinely ruin things, and because of that, I hope Palace go down. I hope Palace don't sign anyone. I hope they do lose Gay, even if it's not to us, which it would be, but I hope they lose Gay, I hope they lose Eze, I hope they don't have time to replace them, and I hope they go down. Couldn't give a flying fuck about Palace. Scum is what I can say to that. Scum. Anyway, moving on. Again, the game I did watch, Forest against Brentford. Yeah, 3-1 to Forest, 3-0 at half time, and it's looking again like another team that could really struggle and possibly go down. I think everyone said that the minute they appointed Keith Andrews. Look, it's great that you're giving opportunities to managers, but when you're losing a manager that you've had for so long that had the stability, like Thomas Frank did, you knew Brentford wouldn't go down with Thomas Frank as their manager. They just weren't. They weren't even in trouble of going down. Even during that first season when they came up, they were never in danger of going down. Of course, everyone predicted it at the start, but the minute the season started, they were never in any danger. They were so solid at home, had a great home record, started the season with a win against Arsenal, and then it just went on from there. And since then you knew that they were going to be safe. They had no issues. So, you lose that, you have to go out and get a solid replacement, and they haven't. They've gone from within the club, given an opportunity to someone that has never managed before, who everyone has said come October, November will be the first to go. He's going to be the first sacked, and you're going to think, what was the point in that? You've given the opportunity, but you've set him up to fail, basically. Yeah, he's lost. And Burmo is going to lose Wissa. He's going to, like, two of your best players. They had no attacking threat. They scored late on from a penalty, and that was it. Other than that, they had virtually no attacking threat, Brentford. And I know they're getting the lad from Bournemouth, and there's still time to obviously get in other players, but they had nothing going for them. Like, honestly, that could have been any scoreline. And I hate to say it because I absolutely love Kelleher, but he looked really, really poor. Like, he looked nervous. And I don't know if that's because it's his new club. I don't know if that's because, obviously, he signed and then the manager that signed him a few days later leaves to join Spurs. Like, that's a bit of a kick in the teeth for him, really. But again, he looked really, really uncomfortable. He was not comfortable at all. And you think back to, especially the two League Cup finals he played in, the amount of aura and confidence he had in those big cup finals for a big club like Liverpool, when you know you're only there as backup. Like, he produced so many big moments for Liverpool, and he was so confident, and he barely made an error. I think the biggest one was the Newcastle game. I think we can all agree that's probably the biggest error he made as a Liverpool goalkeeper, the Newcastle one. But other than that, you can't really find many errors that he made for Liverpool, but you can pick so many just in that one game for Brentford, where he looked like he just looked like a shit keeper, if I'm being honest, and I know he's not, but that's what he looked like. And also, you do have to understand that when you go into a club like Brentford, you are going to be under pressure a lot more than you were as a Liverpool goalkeeper. I know Liverpool do give away quite a few chances, but again, even when we do give away quite a few chances, you're not going to be under pressure as much than when you're playing for a team like Brentford, where you're going to be peppered for a lot of the game. And that's where a true nature of a goalkeeper will come out. And at the minute, he has not passed. He's not passed with flying colours. He's not passed at all. He's failed massively in the first test. And it is going to be massive now to see how he recovers from that. Because I'm sure he will even know that he's had a stinker. And it just does not look great. But on the flip side, Chris Wood, continuing on his goal scoring prowess from last season, bagging 2. Incredible. But yeah, they look very good as well. They do. They look very, very strong. Elliot Anderson just continues to get better and better. Gibbs White is a massive coup for them to get him to sign a new deal. That's going to be big for them moving forward. Again, defence looks good. the new winger that they have, Ndoye, scored a great header. It was a brilliant header, and he looks like a very good winger. He really does. So they've got more coming in. McAtee, Hutchinson, the striker that just signed, I believe today or yesterday, I think it was yesterday, from Rennes. They're still going for more. So again, you'd expect them to have a very good season. But also, you do have to understand as well that it's going to be a big test for them to be playing 2 games a week now, when the Europa League starts coming around and they're playing Thursday, Sunday. It'll be a big test for them because they haven't had that for a very, very long time. You know, we're talking, I mean, probably close to 30 years. You know, it's well over 25 anyway, since they last had, you know, a midweek fixture and a weekend fixture back to back to back to back. You know, so it'll be interesting to see how they handle that, and as well if their squad can stay fit enough to compete in those competitions as well when you get the League Cup and the FA Cup coming around as well. It's going to be massive, but again, they do look very, very strong. And then moving on to the final Sunday game, Arsenal against Man United. Arsenal won by 1-0. Scored in the 12th or 13th minute. Mistake by the keeper from the corner. Calafiori scores, taps it into the empty net, and that was it. If you want to, it seemed like if there was ever going to be another goal in that game, it was going to be United. Again, showing their just shit. It's just the best way to put it, really. They're just shit. Even when you spend, you know, almost 200 million on forwards, you're still shit. It's great to see as a Liverpool fan. I could not care less. And again, it's just proving that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is just a lying, boring fuck. Saying that United were close to running out of money, yet you finished, what, 15th? Lost the Europa League final, won no trophies, and can still spend 200 million. You're a liar, is what you are, Sir Jim. A liar and a bullshitter. And it's great to see that you're still shit. And then, moving on. Well, actually, no, before we move on, to be fair, I never actually saw it because I was in work during that time. So I only was seeing snippets when looking at the TVs and hearing the people in the pub, obviously, making noise, which I knew obviously they were all United fans, so they were making a lot more noise than not, so I knew Man United were having quite a few chances. I believe Man United should have had a penalty. And I have seen the video, and how again that has not been seen when it's blatant. The defender gets none on the ball, takes out the player, and that's not a pen. I don't really get that. I don't. And to be honest, I'm not that arsed. Again, because it's United. I hate them and I'm glad that VAR went against them. But when you take that hat off and you actually talk logically of football, again, that's clear and obvious error that VAR was supposed to come in to nullify yet clear and obvious errors are continuing to happen, maybe even more frequently than they were before VAR was introduced. Which makes a lot more people go, what's the fucking point of VAR? If you're getting more clear and obvious errors wrong, why do you have it? It's not working. They tried to make so many errors since they introduced it. Changes, sorry. Since they introduced it. But these changes aren't doing jack. Because you're still getting things wrong. If anything, you're continuing to get more things wrong. And you're just annoying us even more. Great! Now we can hear the referee tell us what bullshit VAR came up with. Great! Wonderful! No, I'm not arsed. It wasn't just that we couldn't hear what VAR was saying. Or the decisions. And we just saw it on a screen. Okay, wonderful. But if you're going to introduce that, at least, get the technology right first. Because you still can't do that. And, God no, because they take... I don't know. I've given up. I've given up with VAR. I'm like the majority of people. I couldn't give a shit if they got rid of it or not. You keep it, we're just going to still hear bitching and moaning. You get rid of it, then people, you know, when something could have happened that could have gone to VAR, people are going to say, well, if you still had it, that it would go to there. It's just like, I don't care anymore. To be honest, I don't care. I've tried and tried with VAR, but it's just shit. And this country does not know how to do anything. The FA don't know how to do anything. The Premier League don't know how to do anything, which is why the technology is still shit. They can't fix it because they don't know how to, because they ain't got brain cells. Anyway, moving on to yesterday's game. The Monday Night Football. Leeds against Everton. Leeds won and 1-0 from a penalty quite late on, but Leeds battered Everton. Everton were shit. They were so bad. I almost felt sorry for them. I didn't, obviously, because I hate Everton, but there was a little part of me that thought, thank fuck I'm not an Everton fan. Honestly, thank God I'm not an Everton fan and I don't have to watch that shit. Because they were so bad. And I mean, again, Daniel Farke's another manager that doesn't have a great record in the Premier League. And you've lost to him and Leeds on the first game of the season. And you can't even say it wasn't just, because it was. The penalty was a bit shit, but to be fair, Leeds should have been miles in front before that. And how they weren't, I don't know. If they had better finishing, then that game would have finished 4-5 or 6-0. But again, although the penalty was shit, obviously the penalty decision, was shit, the actual penalty was a fucking great penalty. He stuck it right in the corner. Pickford went the right way, but obviously his little T-Rex arms got nowhere near it. But he put it right in the corner. Even a big fucker in goal, even Van der Sar would not have got that. It was right in the corner. Great penalty. And yeah, Leeds played very, very well. Deserved the win. And it's just great to have football back. It is. I love football. It's great to be back. And it's also great if your team gets off to a winning start. And we did that on Friday, and then I just got to enjoy the rest of the weekend and the games as a whole. So, after week 1. We are 4th. And yeah, it's not too bad, it's great. Man United at where they finished in 15th, Everton 14th. Always great to see Everton and United in the bottom half of the table, even if they might not finish there. But again, Everton and United did last season, so it's possible. But who knows? Who knows? But yeah, the team's currently operating in the bottom, in the relegation zone. Obviously Wolves, West Ham and Burnley. Wolves obviously bottom because they lost 4-0. And then with West Ham and Burnley losing 3-0, West Ham are 19th and Burnley are 18th, because Burnley, obviously alphabetical. You know, B becomes before the W. So West Ham are below Burnley. That's the only reason Burnley are 18th and not 19th. But yeah, that is it for the Premier League anyway. Moving into the other leagues and the rest of the world. Obviously, great start for Bayern Munich, beating Stuttgart in the German Super Cup 2-1. Harry Kane and Luis Diaz, his first for Bayern, and very fittingly did the Diogo Jota celebration, so that was very, very nice to see. Great for Diaz to get off to a flyer at Bayern, you know, a goal and a trophy. I don't think anyone really thought Stuttgart was going to win it, let's be honest. But yeah, I mean, it's no one thought they were going to win it, but you know, for it to be close like that, I don't think it was necessarily close in actual game, though. I do think Bayern dominated. I did have it on, but I wasn't really watching, you know, I was watching YouTube instead over there and just had it on the TV. But I was flicking my eyes and I could still obviously hear the audio through the headphones anyway, slightly, not fully. But yeah, I think Bayern pretty much dominated that game and probably deserved to win it. And I want to just... where are we? Yeah, so looking in the Championship, obviously Leicester lost 2-1 to Preston. That's not a great start to life back in the Championship for Leicester. They're 12th after playing twice. They only have 3 points. They've won 1 and lost 1. But yeah, that's not great for them, losing to Preston. But Stoke are on a flyer, 2 from 2. They're top. Middlesbrough 2 from 2, who are second, and West Brom 2 from 2, who are third. Obviously West Brom beating Wrexham, who have started life back in the second tier for the first time since, I think, the 90s, is it? Or is it the 90s? Yeah, I think so. Is it 99? Or 90? I think it's the 90s. I don't know. But yeah, life back in the second tier for a long time, let's just say that, has not started off well. 2 defeats. Again, they've had tricky starts. Southampton and West Brom are not easy starts, but again, that's life back in the second tier. It's not easy, and Wrexham are finding that out, where they've had, since the owners came in, almost everything go their way, barring promotion in the first season, but they then got promoted to League 2, got out of the National League for the first time in, I think, 15 years it was. Then back-to-back promotions into League 1, and then back-to-back promotions by getting promoted straight away into the Championship. At the minute, it looks like it's not going to be back-to-back promotions, but I'm pretty sure Wrexham would just take staying in the Championship at this moment in time. They probably would have just taken staying in League 1. They've probably overachieved with their ambitions or goals, but they're in the second tier, and they've started off with with 2 defeats, so that's not great. Anyway, I am going to leave it here for episode 1, the first episode of this week's review. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, subscribe, and again, I don't know if these will always be on a Tuesday. If there's Monday Night Football, it will be on a Tuesday. If there's no Monday Night Football, it will be on a Monday. But given the Premier League have a shitload more games that are being played on TV this season, 215, Monday Night Football may be regular. It might be every week or at least every other week. Or like majority weeks, sorry. So most of these will probably be on a Tuesday, but if there's no Monday Night Football, it'll be on a Monday, and I'm unsure yet if I'm going to do a midweek review when the midweek games come. I don't know yet. We'll see, but this will be a weekly show, a weekly series, just to, as I said at the start, get a bit more football on the channel. Instead of just talking Liverpool, we talk about all the Premier League games and then some others from other leagues and around the world. But anyway, like I said, thanks so much for watching, and I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.